do you have a Facebook account?
Yeah, but it doesn't go in. Well, I don't know. I'm just going to see.
Okay. Well, we're waiting for you. We're here. The show's already started, huh?
I'm putting it in right now.
All righty.
My picture, that's the only thing.
It's okay. You don't need a picture. You can just come on and show us your beautiful face. You're actually live right now.
Well, but I'm not seeing anything.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to enlist the help of a relative, because somebody had to teach me how to use it. And enlist the help of a relative, because somebody literally had to teach me how to use it as well. And that way you ought to be pretty good to go.
And see what happens, because I'm messing with it now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you in a few minutes. As soon as the best thing to do with StreamYard is to go directly on your computer, plop in that link.
Here, I can see you.
Yeah, you can see me. You can see me. Okay, I see you, and it says that you're disconnected.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to get this camera thing to work.
Okay.
And it's not doing it. You know how you say undo?
Yeah.
It's not doing it.
It's going to be okay. Just watch. It's going to work. Just watch. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. As you can see, we're both trying to get everything together. I'm so glad to be in good company, because I will tell you right now that oftentimes I don't even know how to use most of this stuff. I am learning every single day. So we're going to go ahead and get right into the show here in just a second. And we will see you guys back here in just a moment. I've always been a unique person, you know what I mean? Sort of laid back in a way, but very adamant and very passionate about what I believe. I think a lot of times that sort of throws people off, because they don't expect me to have the mindset or the process of thought that I do. And so when you come in to watch my channel, you may hear a myriad of thoughts and ideas that could be different from others. What I want you to do is just sit back, like, share, and subscribe. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah. Everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Lockhart Perspective.
Well, we are having a little bit of technical difficulty. And as I stated to Sophia, I'm so glad to know that I am in good company, because oftentimes I have the worst opportunity trying to work with technology. Technology and I are not friends by any stretch of the imagination. I believe that it is Beelzebub. So with that said, I'm excited because she is now here, and we are going to get right into it. As you all know, there has been a lot of scuttlebutt about the Matrix, and there have been so many different stories. I thought it'd be best to just get her here and let's just all talk about it. Let's get some ground things established. We'll definitely talk to her about her formal years. We'll talk to her about the time that she spent as she is a writer. And we'll also pinpoint a couple of the things that we have heard and dispel a lot of those myths. And we'll possibly learn some new information about her this evening. Her name is Sophia Stewart. She is a New York native. And so I'm excited. So let's just get right into it. She's here with us right now. I'm going to go ahead and add her into the stream with us and let her come on and chat. Hello, how are you? We are so happy to have you. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Finally, it started working, like you said it
Yes,
would.
so happy to see that.
Away.
Thank you so very much. Can you hear me? Because I can just barely hear you.
Oh, I can hear you excellently, and I'm surprised that you can barely hear me because my
It's
mic
you're sort
is
of you're sort of distant. It's almost like you're distant, or maybe get a little
wait.
closer. Get a little closer. Remember that old Arid Extra Dry commercial? Here I'm dating myself. Yeah.
Is that much
Okay.
better?
So not really. You may want to come up just a little closer to your microphone, or are you alone? Can you remove your mask? If you're alone, can you remove it so we can hear you just a little bit better?
I cannot remove the mask. We're in a public place, and we
okay,
are
no
ordered to
worries
eat.
at all. We totally get it. We want you and everyone else there to be safe. So we're going to get right into it. You know, there's been a lot that's been said with regards to the Matrix, with regards to the Terminator. And a lot of those things have caused a lot of confusion. You mentioned something to me the other day as it relates to confusion. And you said, you know what? It's not of God. And I agree with you 110%. And I also believe that the best way to get down to the bottom of something is just go directly to the source. And if you don't have both or all three sources, it's best to just cut down to the chase. So what can you tell me about your early years? Everybody wants to know where somebody great begins. Tell us about your formal years, your young years, your years as a young girl. I want to hear all about your opportunity to graduate junior high school and go right into college. As I read in your bio, I was absolutely stoked about that. Tell us about you. Tell us who you are.
Well, for one thing, I'm a master writer, and I started writing early in the 7th grade when I was 11 years old. I'm a prodigy because I won the case, my court case that people have been maligning and lying about on the internet for years and calling me an urban legend and a myth. And I'm not a myth. I'm not an urban legend. I really beat several law firms. One law firm had over 100 attorneys. I am a master writer and a screenwriter, a author of several books, a producer, an entrepreneur. Then once
Very
since I was
good.
a kid.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings? Are you the only child? Are you the only product, the only brilliant child in the household? Or are you like a lot of families where you have one or two kids? Do you have any siblings? Tell us about that.
I have brothers on both my mother's side and my father's side. So my family are military and law enforcement.
Okay.
So they're brilliant in those careers, but I'm one that chose to do something different.
Okay. Now, when you were little, did you have an affinity towards books, towards reading? What were you like as a child?
I was reading and writing prolifically at 3 years old.
Wow.
My 7th grade, my first teacher to teach me writing was a college professor at the university. What happened was my teacher in grade school got sick, and so the substitute teacher came in, and he said he didn't know anything about English because she was our English teacher, but he said he knew about writing and that he would teach us to write. So I've been writing for a long time. So by the time I got into college, I did not do high school. I took the New York Regents, went into college, and got a degree. But now, I had some
Tell us about that, because I saw that, and I know everybody else that we shared your bio with is absolutely amazed. Tell us, how do you go, a young girl in New York, from junior high school to passing that test? Tell us about that. I want to know that. Tell us about that.
What can I tell you? They give you an exam. They call the New York Regents, and anybody that can pass it can get their high school diploma and go into any college.
How old were you at the time?
Well, it doesn't matter how old I am or was, because I don't have a birth certificate like you guys have a birth certificate, because my mother is native and Portuguese. And native people did not go to hospitals. They had their babies at home. So 3 of us was at home.
Okay.
So we did not have my brother and one of my sister and brother, my older brother and sisters. So we didn't have birth certificates. We were
So
never
when you
registered. I've never
go
registered.
ahead, go ahead.
So me being very smart, I won the presidential award while I was in grade school or junior high. I was very athletic, loved sports, played tennis with the boys in college, USC, City University of New York. I kind of was like my father. I was gifted in music, a musician. I could play the piano by ear before I even had any musical notes or music. I was already playing the piano prolifically. Just a gift. A prodigy is an enigma, a person that can crack the codes on things and do things that are extraordinary things that most geniuses or other people cannot do.
Absolutely.
We're
And
like
that's exceptional. You mentioned USC. Those are my old stomping grounds, being that I was raised in California. USC was I used to go to USC and hang out with everybody there. And I used to also go out to UCLA and have a good time. You found the opportunity to write your first that we know of as far as which one is popular, and that was The Third Eye. And you did that while attending USC, correct?
That's correct. I wrote in 1980. I wrote the Third Eye, Matrix and Terminator book. It is the Third Eye, Matrix and Terminator because the third eye is the eye of God. Because on Earth we have two eyes, we people, and I'm talking about the womb that God's children come from, which is called the Matrix, a 7,000-year-old Latin word. And I'm talking about Terminator end time revelations because in Revelations, the prophecy says that the Christ conscious would come back again upon the earth. And I wrote the story, a futuristic science fiction story, never seen on any screen, never been heard of ever, about the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machines.
And you did that story, and that is the one that is, ladies and gentlemen, The Third Eye Matrix that she wrote. In tandem with that, I do know that there is a lot of discussion as it relates to the Terminator, as it relates to the Matrix. How was it that they utilized? Now, in 1980, what year in college were you in 80?
In 1980, I was a graduate. I'd already graduated from college in 1980 at USC. I was in grad school at SC, studying films. Went to school with Marcus Allen, Ronnie Lott, August Curley, James Sinclair, Dennis Johnson, and the Moore brothers. And Charles White was on his way out, the Heisman winner. On his way out when I came in, he was a senior, getting ready to graduate, but I met him through Marcus and Ronnie.
Very
and
good.
Later on, I went.
You with some heavyweights. You guys are all heavyweights out there at USC. A lot of my friends, several of my friends that graduated with us went to USC, and a lot of them, flourished and did quite well. So that is good to know. I do want to talk to you a little bit, and you and I talked before the show. You guys, I had the opportunity to speak with Sophia. And when I tell you, just a down-to-earth person and a person who's very, open and transparent, she even told me, listen, you can even be adversarial if you need to. And as you guys here in the chat know, I will go to a specific level of asking questions that may not be something that you always are used to, but it does get us all on one page. When you were writing this and you decided, when let me just take a step back, not when you wrote it, when you finally realized that your work had been plagiarized or that your work had been taken or used, however you want to say it, where were you? What year was that? Tell us about that.
Well, when I found out that my work was adapted from my script and book to the screen was actually March the 31st, 1999, when I went and saw The Matrix with one of my friends. I went to the movies and I saw my work on the screen. I hadn't sold it to anybody. It was copyrighted. My copyrights are 81, 83, and 84. I didn't know about the Terminator until the FBI told me, because like I told you, I come from a military law enforcement family. In other words, my family members are FBI agents, marshals, policemen, correction officers, and the other part, military,
I see.
Navy, Air, Army, so forth. So
Hmm.
I've been lived on a lot of bases. I used to work for the government. While I was a teenager, I worked twice for the federal government, so I know government and everything. So at the time when I didn't know anything about the Terminator, I went to law enforcement when I saw my work on the screen. One of the brothers them offered me money trying to buy my copyrights, which are worth billions of dollars. They was trying to buy them for $5 million. Even Schwarzenegger called me up and offered me $5 million for the Terminator copyrights. And I refused because, like I told you, I was doing taxes, grown people, H&R Block of taxes for grown people when I was 11 years old. So I knew about money. I knew about accounting. I knew how to do 1099 OIDs, and some of the IRS agents don't know how to do that. I scored a 98 on the IRS exam. It's pure math, 2 points from 100. So I was well versed in math. And as you can know, Matrix and Terminator is futuristic. In 1980, while I'm at USC, I'm talking about the Federal Reserve, the Trilateral Commissions, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. I'm talking about programming and downloading when Trinity tells Tank to download her so she can fly the helicopter. I'm talking about body scanners, food scanners, alien technology in 1980.
Okay. So let me ask you specifically, laser specific. I want to know your correlation with the Terminator. How do we determine that the Terminator is something that is yours? At what point do we recognize that?
It's easy. It's in the book. It's the epic story I wrote.
Right.
It was in 200 pages. Wait a minute. So much work in there. I did the special effects, the graphics, the characters, the concept. A movie is only a fraction out of a book. A movie is only 1 hour and 36 minutes, and it's just filming. It's not writing, it's filming. It may be 2 hours and 20 minutes or 10 minutes. So they adapted it to the screen like they did Lords of the Rings, well, J.R.R. Tolkien's book, the Hobbit, just like they did John Grisham's The Pelican Brief, The Firm. Anytime you adapt any book, copyrighted work, it is the author's work that you're putting on the screen and not the filmmaker's work. It's the same thing that the architect does. I want the people to know. Same thing that the architect.
I don't mean to cut you off, but here's what I'm really trying to get down to the nuts and the bolts of it, because you and I only have an hour to share together, and I really want it to be as substantive as possible. So with that, go ahead.
The Terminator is the prequels to the Matrix. It's the beginning of the epic story. The machines in the future, here's the prophecy that a baby is going to be born that's going to destroy them when they enslave mankind. They know that they have to time travel to the past to kill Sarah Connor. They know her name. So they time travel, wrapped in flesh, killed but cannot be killed, Terminators, coming to kill her. And Kyle Reese, he hears the same oracle prophecy. And he's going to the past to save her. And
listen, I have to stop you. I have to stop you. And the reason why I have to stop you is because a lot of us are lovers of the Terminator and lovers of, the work, The Matrix. We love it. So we know the story. What I would try to find out is, first of all, we know that there is a couple of people who have the claim to the Terminator as an example. And one of those individuals was Mr. Ellison. And so Ellison did sue. And
yes, but
he actually filed a claim, and he didn't have to go to court, but they did pay him.
He did not sue.
Right. They never went to court, but they settled.
They stole elements from him, $88,000 worth.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
So here's something that I want to step away for, folks. We're going to just show something right quick. It's just a really quick caption. I want everybody to be able to watch it and to see it together. We're going to watch it together. And it's just to answer just a few questions, because the one thing that I want to do is to make sure that in all of our getting, we get understanding, that we get clarification. I don't want anyone to ever come to the channel and never have solid info and never have, answers to questions that we're going to ask. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to play a really quick story really quick. And we're just going to look at this. I just want to watch it together. And you guys can just share with us exactly what you think once she and I are done here. And that'll be something good. The purpose of making sure that we get to the bottom of the concrete questions is because you guys know this is an excellent lady. She's been interviewed several different times, but for me, I like to get down to the nuts and bolts and ask things that nobody else has ever asked. I find that to me is the most important thing that we could ever do. And so by saying that, we're going to watch a very small, very, very teeny tiny documentary, as it were. And we're going to answer just a couple of questions here. So let me pull this up for you guys. You guys can watch it at your discretion, but we are coming right here and I will show you what I want you to see. So we're here. And you guys, let me see if you can hear it. You probably won't be able to hear it. So let me go back and clear it up for you there. I'm a little challenged, and you guys know that when it comes to making sure that I am working with my technology, I ain't the best. So I ain't gonna lie about it. So I'm going to defer to my fingertips that are now moving me and me trying to take some time to speak. Here we go. All right, there we are. Okay, here we go. Terminator 1984 acknowledgments to the works of Harlan Ellison. Harlan was an American science fiction writer who wrote many stories that started in a post-apocalyptic version of our world predating the Terminator 1984 with moral lessons about where humanity is heading. His writings were also quite visceral, as he didn't believe in toning down violence. He's quoted as saying, "Violence is painful. It's full of blood. It hurts people. It kills people. And I think when you lie about it, when you pretty it up, you lead people to believe that it's possible to go around shooting each other, punching each other, and stabbing each other with impunity. And my stories are intended to have a very pronounced emotional effect on people. And so, on occasion, in a story, when it demands that, yes, I get very candid, very realistic," end quote. James Cameron has had numerous lawsuits and claims put against him for plagiarism throughout his career, but Harlan Ellison was the only one of the people to win out of court settlements or agreements, not lawsuits. This certainly, on the surface, looks like an admittance of guilt of some sort, surely. Now, the Terminator's plagiarism claims were only ever really told from Harlan Ellison's perspective. He himself stated that this was stipulated by the settlement deal that James Cameron and other parties connected to the Terminator would not be able to comment or talk about what happened. And it was often referred to by Cameron as a, quote, bum deal. Harlan states that he received a lump sum of money with another additional amount to be paid later, and that all future publications of the Terminator on home release and broadcasts on TV would feature acknowledgments to the works of Harlan Ellison. Harlan Ellison also claimed that if James Cameron had approached him and said that he wanted to do his own take on Harlan's ideas, that Harlan would have allowed Cameron to do it for free had he just thanked him in the end credits. The way Ellison tells it, he began hearing rumblings during the production of The Terminator that it was sounding a bit like his Outer Limits episode, Soldier, which Ellison had adapted from his 1957 story, Soldier from Tomorrow. Ellison claims that his requests to read the script were denied and that he had not been invited to the critics' screenings. When he managed to sneak into one of the screenings, he felt that the first few minutes of The Terminator were identical to Soldier. If true, another aspect of Ellison's claim is more compelling. He says that he was contacted by a friend at Starlog who said that the magazine was receiving pressure from Cameron's representatives to excise a quote from an interview Cameron gave Starlog. According to Ellison, in the original transcript of the interview, Cameron said that he got the idea for Terminator from a handful of Outer Limits episodes. Ellison also claimed that another acquaintance reported to him that he'd heard Cameron boast that he'd quote ripped off a couple of Harlan Ellison's stories, end quote, in the writing of The Terminator. Many people have noted that in addition to Soldier, Demon with a Glass Hand, another one of Ellison's Outer Limit episodes, bears certain similarities to The Terminator. The results? Well, it doesn't appear that Ellison ever filed a complaint. He said that the studio was eager to settle the case out of court, and he puts the monetary settlement in the vicinity of $65,000. And now the Terminator credits include and acknowledge Ellison. This is Felicia Lockhart, and this has been the Lockhart Perspective. Now, that was after doing a great deal of research that I had to do, and I, of course, pulled all of it together. And all of the parts of everything that I have used will be down below in the description box. But with all that said, that is one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, simply because of the fact that this gentleman's work is all the way back to, 1957. And the judge in that situation, when they all decided how much he was going to get, they agreed that they would pay him something as well. They would give him his rights. And this was not posthumously. This was while he was still alive, that they would put it in all of the broadcasts as well as the movies. So with that said, the one thing that I wanted to ask you was, when you consider everybody is able to get this kind of information, how do you reckon with your claim to this actual piece of work, which would be The Terminator?
My claim is validated through the courts. There was no judge validations of Harlan Ellison. They settled out with him because they stole teleplay. Teleplay is background. The story came from me. I'll be back.
That's not true.
It is
That's not true.
Because you never read the book. You never read the book.
So,
never saw the teleplay on my story.
Okay.
And it's been validated by two federal judges.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, and everybody in the chat hears what you're saying, and I totally get it. I totally understand what you're saying.
I don't get what you're saying. It has been validated by two federal judges, and I sell Terminator around the world. So you can kiss my ass. How's that?
Oh, I appreciate kissing of the asses, but I don't want to kiss yours.
Well, you can.
My goal is to, however, get to the bottom of what it is that we're going to talk about today. You and I both decided that we would talk about it in a very respectful manner. I would respect you. You would respect me. But these are just the hard questions. Oh, guys, it looks like we've lost her. I'm so terribly sorry that only 30 minutes into the audio and everything, we had to lose her. However, there is some other information that we do need to take a look at. Now, in as much as she stated that the Terminator was hers, I get it. You know what I mean? I totally get it. We can all come together and decide, listen, I have this mindset of a hero. Everybody has the one type of hero in their mind, right? I know that she said that her story was fashioned by JC, which is Jesus Christ, to her, John Connor. But the one true thing is, every single story in history has the one that saves everybody, right? Every single person in history has the one. You've got the Pied Piper, you've got the wizard, you've got, obviously, in religious cultures and religious settings, you have to say, yes, everybody has got one person that they want to believe. But let me tell you about Miss Sophia. I'm going to tell you guys something, because whether you know it or not, or whether you've ever had the opportunity to see it or not, or to read it or not, I did purchase her books. I purchased one. She blessed me with the other one, which was the Matrix 4. When I tell you, this woman on her own merit is an exceptional writer, an absolute exceptional writer. I have not enjoyed reading this type of science fiction in a long time. Do I believe that she wrote a screenplay? Absolutely. Do I believe that she has the capacity to write The Matrix? Absolutely. But when we start to dig deep and we ask those questions that are already public knowledge, we need to be able to respectively and respectfully get the right answers from one another. I believe that she is a strong writer, that without any of these things or any of the alleged, using her work without permission and all of this stuff, I believe she could have been a heck of a contender. Let me just tell you. And that is because I've read her work. She's dynamic, absolutely dynamic, but I don't understand why the hostility. I don't understand, why being so upset. I don't understand it. But again, the problem is not that people, stole from her or any of that, because as she clarified, she says that they did not steal it from her. They just did not allow her to, have her rights given to her to use the work, that they did not ask her to use the work, that they did not pay her. Now, as far as the lawsuits, I did get a load of information from Miss Stewart, a load of information. And let me tell you, this lady has gone through some stuff. She's gone through some stuff. And it's very sad to see that she has gone through as much as she's gone through. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, she's delusional. I'm not going to say she's crazy. I'm not going to say anything bad about her, because there's only one thing for sure, that there's one true and living God, and only He knows truth, right? He knows the truth. Nobody else knows the truth. My goal was to just get down to the good part and present her with the evidence that I had found, and then give her a fair opportunity to answer it. Because if I can find it and I can think about it, I'm sure that other people can too. Hopefully she'll come back in and we can finish talking, because I really believe that she needs the opportunity to tell the truth about everything she's gone through. Now, there are a few comments down here, and let's go on ahead. I like to keep people's self-esteem intact, right? I believe that like I said earlier, as a writer, top notch. You guys buy the book. I'll tell you, the Matrix #4, she wrote that in 2010. When I tell you hands down, this lady can write. I will never take that from her. This lady can write. Okay. Now, how do I know it's her work? Because ain't nobody else attacked this lady for her stuff. I looked on the Copyright Office, and let me tell you something else. There's only one person's name that you see that's attached to this body of works, that is The Matrix. And there's only one other person's name that has anything listed for the word Matrix, and that is for a gentleman who actually got the copyright for his score from the movie The Matrix. I don't see the Wachowski brothers there. All fairness, I have to be fair and equitable. I don't see their names. I don't see any of these individuals for The Matrix. None of them. And I combed very thoroughly. Okay. So I've got to be fair. I've got to be right. And everything that I do, I have to be fair and I have to be equitable. But as far as The Matrix is concerned, I personally could not find their names anywhere associated with it. I couldn't. Now, there may be someplace I did not look, but where I looked, I couldn't find it. All right. I did see her name. The book, the newest book, which is The Matrix #4. When I tell you, get the book and put all the other stuff aside, read that. That's an excellent screenplay. It's actually, everything that she writes is written as if it was a screenplay. Now, do I believe these folks probably borrowed some of her stuff? I sure do. Yeah, I do. I do. Because I look at where they are right now, and I don't think the headspace is there to be able to write like that. But I do want to just be honest and tell you guys, I'm sorry that she had to leave. I'm really, really sorry that she had to go and that she left that way. That's right. And Rebecca Stinson just said the copyright of the books and the movies are different, and they are in two different locations. However, when you pull up the person's name for the copyright portion, you see her name come up. And for the score, you see the gentleman's name come up. I've checked everywhere that I could. Now, if there's somebody else that knows how to dig around and look or find something, then do that and send it to me. And in all fairness, I'll look at that. But I personally couldn't find it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It means that when I went to go and look for the Wachowski brothers, I couldn't see it. Okay, I just couldn't see it. But what I do recommend that you guys do so that you can see what I mean, if you can, if you can look at the book somehow, if you've got, you can go on Amazon and get the book. You can do anything. You can go to her website and get the book. The lady can write. The lady can, hands down. I mean, you're talking to somebody who loves, my sister is in the chat and she'll tell you. You're talking to somebody who loves science fiction, who used to read. When I was a little girl, that was the only solace that I had, that in church when I was a little kid. But I loved Ray Bradbury coming up. Loved Ray Bradbury. I loved anything dealing with science fiction, anything dealing with, all that stuff that's not right now, right here. And I could not stop reading her book. I literally sat there and I read it and I just couldn't. Yes, the plural, they are the sisters. And that is the reason why I say I can't see them having the headspace that this lady did. This lady, the stuff that I've read that she's written, I can't see them having the headspace. She's really a brilliant writer. She has the ability to draw the reader in with everything that she writes. And that to me is an exceptional writer. When you can bring a reader in and continue to turn the page, to me, that's a great writer. Martin Smith says, this woman, his woman is a liar who uses the Matrix and the Terminator to earn money from her books. No one denies that she can write, but she lies. You know what? I believe that we are to let God be true and every human being a liar. That's what I think. I think God is the only true one, right? The only problem for me is I just hate that we were not able to finish talking to her because, I did have some other stuff that I'm not sure if we can even show it now. I don't even know if it would be in context. But my question is, how could these other two cats say that they wrote it when we never, ever hear them definitively say it either? At least she's got some copywritten stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we, in all fairness, I've never heard them come right out and say, I don't like what this lady says and she's incorrect. And another thing that I thought about, you guys, if she did not write it, and if she was truly lying on them, wouldn't they have sued her for libel? They had enough to shut her all the way down. Think about that. There's some truth to everything, you guys. Don't just discount her, because if you do that, then that means that if there was any wickedness involved at all, that they won. Think about that. If there was any wickedness involved at all, if you discount her and you say that she's wrong and that they did write it, then they won. Why? Because none of us know the truth. The Matrix 4 is coming out. She already wrote the book in 2010. There is definitely a copyright on that, and it is a very good book. I did read it, and I'm going to tell you guys, hey, listen, I ain't seen them write nothing else like that. Have you? I mean, they've been a party to other things, but you got to be able to sort of balance this stuff out. She made some very good points when we chatted over the phone, and that is that it's a very wicked environment. And she's right. It is. It's a very wicked environment. Okay. All right. But I will say that if she were off her rocker, as some have assumed, or if she were this blatant liar, as some have assumed, wouldn't it be fair to think that they would have slapped her with a lawsuit? I don't see it. I do not see it at all. They did move some things around because we did some tracing of some of the court cases. We moved and we looked and we saw where they had literally hidden one of her lawsuits. She had 3 of them. They literally moved it, changed the number. I saw it myself, and slid it under a newly assigned judge. Okay. All right. So we've got to be fair. We got to be fair, you guys. I mean, we have seen so many crazy things out there. DJ Brad said that if she won the lawsuits and had copyrights, then why isn't she credited? You know what? That's a good question that I don't have the answer to. And I do not believe the only lawsuit that I saw physically with my own two eyes, and I've got a bunch of information, it was the one that she won against the attorney. I think his name was Lou Bell. That's public record. 300, I believe, and don't quote me, but I know it was over $300,000. You don't win for nothing. You guys use your discernment. You know what I'm saying? Use your discernment. I don't believe that, for me personally. I saw more in those old Outer Limit clips as it relates to the Terminator. I saw more in the Outer Limits clips because I actually went back and looked at the old Outer Limits that the gentleman referenced in the video that I created there, and I did see more correlation between that as well as the Terminator. I did, and I saw less of the Terminator in her book, but I don't know what else to say. But I will. I'm going to go on up here and start to read up here. But yeah, I will say that, you know what, for me, hands down, I think she's a great writer. I'm going to start all the way up at the top, and we're going to go start here. So you guys, we can just go on ahead and go into our regular Saturday Night is Live. I want to thank each and every person that is here with us. It is a little early for us to end, so we're not going to end until the time is supposed to. Let's see. Rachel Van Ziel says, good evening, Anthony. And Charles says, very interesting. Ronnie says, Miss Karim. Hello. Ronnie Van Zant says, Ronnie Man says, Van Zant in the house. And Karim is greeting him back. Wow, that's so impressive. I don't know what that was. That was impressive. But Martin Smith says, I read the story Third Eye is no similar to the Matrix or the Terminator. I absolutely agree with you. It is not, but it does stand on its own. You have to admit that it is a very good read. Why does she think they copied her? Well, you know what? Maybe she saw some similarities to herself that she felt was that. And you just never know. So Van Zant says, Anthony Van Zant says, Black Spring with Autumn, Rachel Van Ziel. Good evening. And Ronnie, good evening, my sisters and my brothers. And hello to you too, Anthony. Good to see you. Black Springs, let's just give this guest some space to tell her story with all due respect. That's absolutely right. Because that's what we were here to do tonight. And I just wish that she had stayed, because we could have delved so much deeper. I have so many other clips that's up here that are to our point from what we were just saying, that really do shed some light on these other folks. Okay. I have some stuff here that was going to really shed some light on these other folks, not her. All right. I don't know why she left. I hate that she left, but I tell you right now, by the end of what we had going on tonight, you guys would have left with some very valid questions for the other folk. I guarantee you. Let's see. Rebecca says she calls herself a prodigy while saying her book was copied from her. Sorry, but it sounds self-centered. And then we also see Martin says, yep, to that. Teresa, good evening. Good sister. Love your Lockhart perspective, but I can't watch this masked lady. To me, it's a sign of delusion. The next person, of course, Mr. Martin Smith says, what part of history is copied? Why she not speak up clearly? Don't know. The prequel of The Matrix is the Animatrix, not the Terminator, and she actually has her name listed for the Animatrix as well. Don't know whether you knew that, but her name is there in the copyright office for that as well. You got to be fair, you guys. I got to be fair. But, well, you never know, Dogface Pony Soldier. Oh, gee whiz. Yes, they took the Terminator from Harlan. So why is this woman saying the Terminator is her work? Maybe she saw something that, was similar. Yes, it is all very interesting, Karim. Hopefully we'll find out in a moment. I wish we had, you guys. I just really wish she had waited, because there was a lot of stuff that we had there. So uncomfortable show, Deplorable says. And Gotcha. Oh, okay, Rebecca says gotcha. And Deplorable agreed, uncomfortable. Yes. Why is she wearing a mask in her own house? Well, she said that in her defense, she said that she was out and about, and she had to wear the mask because she was in a public space. And so that's why. DJ Brad, public space. That's correct. And she's following the guidelines, you guys. You know, the guidelines when you're out in public, you got to mask up. That's the guidelines. And I know that she's in the Nevada area, and I know that's definitely the guidelines there. Let's see. Dog face pony soldier. I just love your DJ. She was in a public place. That's right. And then, wow. Okay. Then Angela Reed says that she seems upset. Oh, and then let's see the faces with Angela. And Rebecca says, what the flippity flop? What the flip flops? And LOL here. And well, is there anything else that we're going to say? Are we going to get anything else here? Let's see. Oh, no, she didn't. Yeah, she did, Sisty. Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, bless her heart. Bless her heart. You guys, you know, listen, let's just be fair to her because, you know, a lot of people do attack folks. But I just feel like, hey, the Matrix broke in. This guy right here. Here's the deal, you guys. When people have been faced with so much opposition over time, they get a little defensive. Of course, I shared, you know, the work with her, but I really wish that she had stayed because, like I said, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other tabs, 6 other tabs here with information. And just to let you know, I tell you, I wish she had stayed because it would have been really good for her had she done that. I can't believe she hung up either. I wish that she had stayed. I can't believe she hung up. Everybody says it seems that you are right. What a fraud. Mr. Martin says, I just got off work. I'm sorry. It's okay, Leaf Desi. How are you, Leaf Desi? Star Wars have Luke Skywalker. And she literally cussed and hung up. Yeah, she did. But, you know, we understand it, though, right? You guys, everybody in the chat, you all should really, really understand why that happened. The hero's journey, in the hero's journey, the mentor. I want to read The Third Eye. Well, I hope that you do. And I hope that everybody else reads it as well, because to be quite candid with you, again, just like the other gentleman said, it doesn't remind you anything of those other 2 bodies of work, but she can write. That's one thing I can't take from her. She hung up the phone and insult you because you don't accept her lies is what Martin Smith says. Ronnie Martin says, Ronnie Mann says, I'm sorry, but Ronnie, oh, behave. I hope the show would focus on the story, mythology, and how it relates to today. Arguing to write seems so vain. That is exactly where we were headed to talk about, and that's what we talked about, how it relates to today. I don't feel like we would have been able to get that. I don't know, Deplorable. I don't think that I don't think we would have ever been able to get there. I don't. I mean, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to circle it back around to where we are today and how do we see, you know, all the stuff going on and how do we, how do we connect the dots of what's going on right now? I think right now, and I said this the other week when we were talking to our friend, Mr. Roy, that the technology is taking such an amazing turn right now that in a minute we are definitely going to be run as a technocracy. And I think that's exactly what's going on. I think that we are going to be in a technocracy very soon, because if you remember, the outgoing president actually put some things in place that would have us all headed and directed dealing with AI. And so when you consider that, and when you look at the fact that, yes, there's a lot of stuff that has us leaning more on technology than on our own brain, it only stands to reason that we need to be a little more cognizant of what we're doing. You know what I started a while back? I don't know would you guys write letters anymore, but what I started doing a while back was literally writing letters. You guys remember that when we used to write letters? We used to write letters. We used to write them. We used to send them. We used to go to the post office and buy our stamps, and we would take our stamps and stick them on a letter. Do you know why I'm bringing that up? Because it is so important to understand that reading is not only fundamental, writing helps us keep our brains stable, right? Yeah, it does. And so I would recommend that everybody start writing a little letter. If you don't do anything but choose a friend per month, sit down and write a 4-page letter. You remember those love letters we used to write, ladies? Okay. Do you remember that? You remember that? I know your heart. I found it online, sis. I know your heart. Yeah, it breaks my heart, Sisti, that, that happened. It says, well, it would help her case, believe it or not, to take off the mask. Yeah, I know. No time to hate. That's right, Jeff. We just don't. We only have time to show love. But you guys, I want you guys to start doing that. I want everybody to start writing a letter. Pick a relative or a good old friend or something like that. Because as I was just saying a few minutes ago, it helps you keep your mind sharp. Write somebody once a month. Write somebody just once a month. Just send them a letter. Hey, I'm going to sit right down and write myself a letter. The matrix comes from mathematics. Not true. I looked at the Library of Congress. Her name is only for one. Let me show you. Baby, let me show you what I got. You're going to have to put her name in. And when you put her name in, DJ, are you still here? Let me get it for you, baby. When you put her name in, go to the Copyright Office, the Library of Congress. You're going to put it in under the whole name, and then you're going to do a search. You're going to search, and when you hit search 05, you'll find 5 pieces of work. Look there, and you will see 5 pieces of work. Okay? And when you get that, let me know, because I don't want to start digging around looking like an old person plundering through my phone. The fact is that you will definitely see her name. Okay? It is, I think it's a third eye matrix, third eye, the Matrix, the third eye, something like that. But with that said, I did see it. I saw it myself. Okay. And when you find it, DJ, Brad, let me know, because you're going to see it. You're definitely going to see it. So that's a good thing. Yeah, you guys, gee willikers, I just wish that we are all able to just get along. Oh, gee whiz. Oh, gee whiz. What do we do now, you guys? It's not even a good party tonight. We normally have a good party on Saturday night. We've been here for 52 minutes and 26 seconds. Let's talk a little bit, though, you guys. You guys know that this week we lost a great one, right? We lost a great one. The person that we lost, as you all know, his name was none other than Hank Aaron. And I think that it's terrible, terrible, terrible that he passed away. But Ronnie Mann and I were talking, and we were all putting the pieces together, and I just found that it was really sad that he had just taken the candy bar on the 5th of January, and he was celebratory in the fact that he took it, and we don't know exactly what happened. The only thing that we do know for sure is that he took it on the 5th, and he passed away yesterday. And what a great man he was, right? So that's sad. That's a very, very sad thing. You can register a name if it does not compete. She has a copyright of books, not movies, correct? And to your point, Martin, let me give Martin a hand up here. Okay, you can register a name if it doesn't compete. She has the copyright of books, not the movies. It is never maneuvered to deceive. Now, remember, her stuff was written as screenplays. So even when you get the book, it's literally written in screenplay form. My sister Karim and myself, and probably as well as a few other people here, we're all in theater. We're all, I worked in entertainment for years. The way her story was written was literally written in a screenplay form. Okay. Not only that, in looking through the documents for court, I found something that other people said they could not find. I don't know whether you guys know it or not, but on the internet and all over the place, and some other interviews where people were trying to come against her with regards to the competition that she was in. Yeah, found it. And it was entered in their evidence. The other side entered the flyer that she had responded to. So you guys watch it now, because you got to be careful when you start calling folk. When you say they ain't telling the truth. Now, let me tell you something. Old folk used to say, and every lie has been the truth. But now I'm going to tell you this. If we don't know, we wasn't there, all we can do is look at the evidence, which is what my job was to do tonight, to lay it all out there and let you guys make the decision. Because after me looking at each and every point, I can go through and check off the stuff that's questionable. Most assuredly, I will, and I do. I do, and I will. Okay? However, when I start checking off stuff and stuff don't look right, it looks sort of funky on their side. Got to tell you guys, you got to use your own, you got to make your own decision, and you got to know something. Listen, the year that she passed, that she went and she joined that little competition that she did, there was the flyer. I saw the flyer. I saw it all. I saw the stamp from the court when they accepted it for the opposite sides, their information. And again, if what she said was not true, then how are all these things adding up? There's some truth to some of this. And so we can't just take Sophia Stewart and just chuck her out, with the bathwater. You can't take the baby in the bathwater and throw him out. No, we can't. And we definitely can't believe the other side either, because you guys know, and my sister and I've been in the music industry for a long time. We have seen some stuff. Okay, I'm telling y'all, you got to be careful. You cannot just believe everything they say. You can't believe. You got to take it all, put it all on the table, take all the cards, put them all on the table, and you got to start to flip them over and start looking at them. I wish she had stayed too. I really, really do. Okay. Let's see. What I mean is that it does not matter. Let me see, Mr. Smith. It does not matter if you have the copyright with the name or not. The important thing is the plagiarism is proof. But they never sued her or responded. To your point, you guys, these people got money. Why didn't they sue her? Wouldn't you sue someone for copyright infringement? Listen, copyright infringement is one thing, right? I mean, there were people that have sued other people for just using a likeness on a commercial. Come on, you guys, think about it now. These people got big money. And if she could stand to gain anything, why haven't they stopped her? Come on. Come on. You guys do the math. Do the math. That's all I'm saying. Think critically. Because not all of this is a lie. I know a lot of people believe it's a lie, but sometimes, you guys, y'all need to put it all in there. Maybe wearing the mask was just making her cranky. Well, I don't know. My brother proposed to a Felicia who was in theater. What state was he in? I need to know. Was it in California? Critical thinking is very important, Karim, KK. It's vital. It's vital. Because if you don't think critically, then you would assume. See, here's the thing. In order for us to say that she's wrong, then we'd have to make everything absolute. They would have to be absolutely right. And she would have to be absolutely wrong. We can't do that to her. We can't. We just can't. Since you guys went online and you guys saw that you found, that you did find her copyright, did you find theirs? It's just a question. I'll hold. No answer. Listen, you guys, y'all know the game. Okay, y'all already know the game. All right. And so when we think like that, let's see, there is also Tom Althaus. Okay, Sophia was not the only one to say that Warner plagiarized her work on The Matrix. Listen, people steal people's work all the time, you guys. I mean, all the time. My sister and I working in music, you can write a song and all you got to do is change a little beat. Ronnie Mann, he works, he does music. All you got to do is change something, a little tweak, a little this and that, and you change the body of work, and now you can do a copyright on it. But I want to ask y'all, have you seen their copyright on the same work that we yelling at her about? I'm trying to be fair, you guys. You got to be fair and equitable in everything that you do. Okay, if we're going to require it of her, we've got to require it of them as well. Rebecca Stinson says, there is also Tom Althouse. So why didn't they sue him? Does that mean that he's right too? You never know. You never know. You never know. In order for a thing to be researched, you have to be able to refute it. Yeah. Something doesn't add up. It's so bizarre. And that is the truth. And that's the reason why we ask the questions, to get to the bottom of it, because there is a cloud over all of it. There's a very big cloud over everything. Very big cloud. And I just wanted to get to the bottom of it. And I did want to remove him out of the first part of it, because I did find proof that, yes, this man really did have a big claim on the Terminator. Because, I watched, my mama used to let us watch Rod Serling. We used to watch the Night Gallery. We used to watch The Outer Limits, and we used to watch The Twilight Zone. And we only had one TV. And that was my mom's shtick. She loved, those sci-fi movies and all that stuff. And I loved The Outer Limits, knew all of those by heart. So the first thing that I wanted to do tonight was to move him off of the table. Okay, remove him off the table altogether. And then just deal with the body of work as the Matrix on its own, right? Because when I started to dig, and some of these tabs I have up here, when I started to dig and I started to look at these folks, I look at body language in these guys. They did not seem to know what, they never looked right at the camera. They never told you, what they thought. Hold on just a second here. I'm getting some cussing out on the text messages. Okay, let's see what I get here. Okay, let me look and see what she says to me. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Apparently, oh my goodness. I need a laxative and do what to myself? Oh. Ooh. Wow. Wow. Yikes. Oh my God. Oh, I haven't been called an N-word in ages. My stars. Oh, my stars. I'm apparently full of fecal matter. F me. Got it. Okay, well, looks like there's nothing to see here, but I will tell you, that's pretty amazing. I know, can you see those messages? Those are pretty amazing messages. But with that said, you guys, it doesn't matter. My point still stands the same. I'm not going to call her out of her name. I'm not going to say nothing bad about that lady. My point still stands. I do believe that she's an excellent writer, and I do recommend that you go out and get the book. I can understand why she is as heated as she is. When she gave me permission to be adversarial, I thought that she was aware of exactly how I interview. I guess she wasn't, and I get it. Okay, so Deplorical says, the Cyrus is ordinary, the symptoms common, the shots are deadly and killed more than Cyrus. Okay, and then let's see. That's kind of a thin blue line family. That's so kind. Does she live in Los Angeles? No, she's out in, I believe, in Nevada. All those shows Mom loved. And yes, we did. We watched them with her. And so we knew all that stuff. Love those shows. And I miss The Outer Limits. Me too. Let's see. Oh, Nothing is my jam. Oh, he loves your music. He went on YouTube with me, and we were, of course, not in the same place, but he went on YouTube while we were together looking on the phone. And I kept sending him your music, and he loves your music. Okay. Good music she's got. All right. Let's see. You're so welcome, ma'am. Thank you. Let's see. GJ Brad. She said in previous interviews that she was engaged to Muhammad Ali, but I can't find any pictures of anywhere. You know what? Yeah, I saw that as well. But hey, again, my sister will tell you, and I hate to keep referencing her, but I'm going to tell you, I don't believe things about people personally unless I'm around them and they tell me. So I'm not going to refute that she was. I'm not going to say she wasn't. I just never heard of it. But just because I never heard of it doesn't mean that it didn't take place. Maybe they were engaged. Okay, see? Okay, it says they were engaged in Tulsa, Oklahoma. LOL, I just adore you. See? So there's that. Now we live in The Outer Limits. Absolutely, Valiant One. We sure do. I do too, Rachel Van Ziel. And then it says, there you go. Let's see what. And then it would not surprise me. Hollywood and Disney are always taking Japanese movies. Let me show you guys something. Okay. Where's the movie? Right here. Let me show you guys this movie, because this was my point about the fact that, you know, they could have taken a lot of stuff too. Okay. Here it is right here. Oh, I had a lot of good stuff for this right here. I'm only going to show a small second of it because this is specifically for commentary. It is for commentary, and it is also not necessarily satirical, but it is used for educational purposes. All right. And let me show you guys this, because to me, they, meaning the people who did the Matrix, they stole this that I'm about to show you from these people. Look at this. Look at the beginning. Look at all the stuff. This stuff it looks like